Am I too loud? That's right. Oh, well. Alright. So yeah, as she mentioned, I've got a cookbook that just came out called Cook and Crunk, Eating Vegan in the Dirty South. It's about 150 or so vegan soul food recipes. It's stuff that I grew up eating in Arkansas and now I live in Memphis. There's like gravy and biscuits and country fried tempeh steak and all that good southern food without the ham hocks and bacon fat. But today I'm going to show you how to make eggless tofu olive salad. It's like an egg salad. My mom always put olives in her egg salad, so I put olives in my tofu salad. But I usually serve this on bread, like in a sandwich, or you can use it with crackers. Today I've got bagel chips, so we'll use it as a dip. So you're going to start, and also when I make this at home, I use 1 pound of tofu to make one batch, but I'm going to make enough for 4 batches. Hopefully we'll have enough to go around. So I've already pressed this tofu here. Tofu, it comes packed in water, in case I don't know if you all are vegans or vegetarians, but if you're not familiar, it comes packed in water, and you have to get that water out to give it a good firm texture. There's a couple ways you can do that. So we'll move this aside. It's already been prepped. And I'm going to show you the old-fashioned way and the new way to press tofu. The old way is to get paper towels, and you wrap your tofu in paper towels. And then you got to give it a little squeeze and sort of press some of the water out. And then you can let it set for about 30 minutes or so with something heavy on top. I'll use some Star Veganese. And we're just going to let it sit. We're not going to do the whole 30-minute press, but you get the idea. So, but what I like to do is use a tofu press. These are fairly new. This is the Tofu Express tofu press. You can get them online. There are other brands out there. So, but it has a spring and a little. It's wet, so I used it earlier for my tofu. But so we're going to take this tofu and put it in here. And then you just kind of lock it down. And the spring really pushes out the water. So I'm going to let it sit while we get everything ready, and you can see how much water comes out at the end. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and mix up everything else in this bowl, and then we'll add the tofu at the end. So I'm going to have to move my jar here. So I'm going to use 2 cups of Veganese. If it was a regular batch, I would use a ½ cup. So it sounds like a lot, but it's going to go spread around a lot of people. So, and this whole jar is exactly 2 cups, so I'm not going to measure. And Veganese is just a vegan mayonnaise substitute. There's several other brands out there. I like Veganese the best. I think some of the other ones taste more like Miracle Whip. This tastes more like mayonnaise. And I was never a fan of Miracle Whip when I ate eggs and dairy, so. Alright. I've got about a cup of minced celery here. And I like to do a fine little mince so you don't get a big chunk. And this is a cup of sliced green olives. And I've measured them out, so I'm dumping them in. And this is 4 tablespoons of minced red onion. I like to use just a little bit of onion because red onion can be kind of strong and overpower a dish if you use too much. And then I've got a 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast is what vegans use as a cheese substitute. It's fortified with B12. So B12 is that one thing it's hard for vegans to get through food. A lot of vegans take a supplement. You can also get it from nutritional yeast. You probably should still take a supplement because it's not enough, but it does help. But we use it for cheese substitutes a lot. You can make a cheese sauce out of it. I use it in this egg salad because it adds just a little boost of flavor, but I don't use a whole lot because you don't want it to be like a cheesy egg salad. So that's about a 1/4 cup there. And this is available also like at Whole Foods in the bulk bins. Other health food stores would have it. And then I'm going to use a couple teaspoons of parsley. This is dried parsley. You can add fresh too. I like dried because I don't like to get those big like green pieces of parsley in my mouth, but if you chop fresh parsley really fine, it'll work well. And then we're going to use a couple teaspoons of turmeric. Turmeric just gives this that yellow color that you want in egg salad. Just going to kind of eyeball it here. And then a little ground black pepper. This is just kind of to taste, however much you want to put in there. And the last ingredient that I'm going to add is, this is the magic that makes it taste like eggs. How many are familiar with black salt? Anybody? This is awesome stuff. If you're vegan and you miss eggs, this is like the answer. It's an Indian condiment or spice. It's called black salt powder. It's also called Kala Namak, which is spelled like KalaNamak. I'm probably not pronouncing that right. But you can get it at Indian markets. It smells and tastes exactly like deviled eggs, which is really weird and kind of creepy, but it's totally vegan, and it makes your food taste like eggs. So don't leave this out. You can also order it online if you don't have an Indian market near you. And I'm going to use 2 teaspoons. A little bit goes a long way with this. I'm kind of pushing it because it gets a little bit, you can see there's kind of chunks. It kind of gets chunked up in there if you don't mush it a little. As I start to mix this, it'll probably start to smell like an eggy smell. It kind of fills up the tip because it smells like eggs. So I'm going to mix all of this stuff together. It's all kind of mushed in there. And then we'll add our tofu in. I'm using a giant popcorn bowl. I wanted to make sure I had a mixing bowl big enough, so I got my popcorn bowl. Alright, once that's all mixed up, we're going to add our tofu, and you can see this is the tofu we pressed with the tofu press. See how much water comes out of that just from sitting a few minutes? If you leave it overnight, it will literally press your tofu like in half. Alright, so what you're going to do is just crumble it in with your hands. Or if you're not wearing gloves, you don't want to get your hands dirty, you can use a fork to kind of mash it. And then this is our tofu we pressed with paper towels. And it's not quite as pressed down as the tofu from the tofu press. If you let it set overnight like that, it would probably get a lot more pressed. For this recipe, since it is kind of a wet, like egg salad, it doesn't need to be super pressed, but if you're frying tofu and you want to get that really firm texture, it's really good to press it for overnight. I'm going to take this glove off to stir it because it's kind of messy. And you just want to get the dressing all incorporated with the tofu, and then it's ready to go. You can see it has that yellow color like egg salad.